What's up YouTube, Dal here from Zephyr Games, bringing you, finally, Warrock Gouki. Now this is the brand new TCG exclusive that wasn't as good as it could have been. Now what we mean by that is literally the only way you can make this deck slightly playable and slightly competitive is you do need to use Goukis. Literally this is Gouki support without having the effect of Gouki to add a Gouki card when it's sent to the grave. But with the help of Joe, massive shout out to this one, we were able to put this deck together. It still contains the core senses of Warrock. The idea is to go second, the idea is to OTK, and pretty much utilise warriors in general. With all that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content from the channel and thereafter. With all that out of the way, let's get into today's profile for Warrock Gouki. So, we start off with Triple Gactus, or Gactos. This is probably the best Warrock monster in the sense of a general extender and a general player. So if an Earth Warrior monster is normal summoned to your field, you can special summon this card from the hand. If this card is sent from your monster zone to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon one level 5 or higher Warrock monster from your hand or deck. Now, literally, if that second effect was just if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, like I really hate card effects that are like, well, if your opponent does it, it's like, so basically what it says is, if your opponent can read, they're not going to do it. Which is what I think is really bad. Like, this deck could have gone from like a 2 to an 8 if that effect was just if this card is sent. Like, so much better. We've then got Triple Fortier. So again, if your Earth Warrior monster battles, after damage calculation, you can add one Warrock card from your deck to your hand, except herself. Then all Warrock monsters you currently control gain 200 attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. If this card is sent from your monster zone to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon one level 5 or higher Warrock monster from your hand or deck. Only use each effect once per turn. No surprise there. Then we've got Triple Orpis. Orpis, basically level 5, a bit of a beat stick, but if you control no monsters or all monsters you control are warriors, important this is warriors and not Earth Warriors, otherwise this would be a lot harder to do. You can also summon this card without tributing. If your Earth Warrior monster battles, after damage calculation you can send one Earth Warrior monster from your deck to the graveyard, except itself, then all Warrock monsters you currently control gain 200 attack until the end of your opponent's turn. So what's really good about this is it actually combos off nicely with Skylar. So we've got double Skylar, and the way Skylar works is gains 100 attack for each of your monsters your opponent controls, each monster your opponent controls. During a battle phase in which your Earth Warrior monster battles, quick effect you can target one level 5 or lower Warrior monster in your graveyard and special summon it. Also, all Warrock monsters you currently control gain 200 attack until the end of your opponent's turn. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot attack directly with level 5 or lower monsters. You can only use this effect of Warrock Skylar once per turn. So, the reason we only got a 2 is she is a high level, she can't just normal summon herself out. The only way you're getting these special summons from the hand is either via a Warrock effect already or via the field spell, which is why we only play 2 at the Basilos as well. Now again, the artwork on these two, like when we saw the artworks, I was like, oh, these look badass. And then they came out and I was like, sad days. So, during a battle phase in which your Earth Warrior monster battles, quick effect, you can activate this effect. This card can attack directly this turn. Also, all Warrock monsters you currently control gain 200 attack until the end of your opponent's turn. While this card is in your hand or graveyard, when your Earth Warrior monster is destroyed by battle, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Only use the effect once per turn. So it's nice if it's from graveyard as well, it can bring itself out, which is quite important. But again, the biggest downside is it's 2 big level monsters that you can't get out unless you've got the field spell in play, or unless you're going to trigger a Warrock. And it's very difficult to trigger the Warrocks unless you're just going to run them headfirst into your opponent, and it's just like, was that really worth it? But it's why you play 2 and 2. You can probably cut this down to 1 if you want to. But this ratio for the particular Warrock Warriors works out quite nicely. And until we get new support, which basically says, no matter what phase you're in, it's always treated as the battle phase, they're not going to be able to do too much more. Which is why we play the best Warrior Earth deck around right now. And that is, of course, Goukis. So we're going with Triple Gouki. And the reason this is so important is because when you normal summon Super X, this can technically turn into a +2 because you go Super X, can normal summon, and special summon a Gouki from your hand. And because your Gactos is a if effect, it doesn't miss timing like the other ones like Butter Spy and stuff like, not Carbagon in like the one that people are playing in Phantom Knights right now. So you can pretty much get 3 warriors on the board in a flick like that, which is really good. We've then got 2 Twist Cobras. Like, his hand effect can sometimes come into play, but again, you're just playing Gouki numbers. 1 Headbat can be a bit of an issue if you open it up, but you just change your targets that you search off of the Isolde. And then you've got the 1 Octo Stretch and then 2 Guts. Again, can be double Octo Stretch if you want. But the whole idea behind the Gouki engine is a Gouki plus an extender can pretty much get you an insane board. It can get you double Paraload Ogre and can even lead you into the Phantom Knight engine as well, should you wish to play that. I've also got a combo that Joe sent for me that is pretty much a 2-card generic Gouki combo. I may not display that. I'll see how long the video goes at the end. But it's just very, very simple. What you need is a Gouki monster plus an extender. Now, the idea is that during the battle phase, you really want the field spell in order to special summon out your War Rocks and kind of go from there. So the idea is that you're going to be able to normal summon your Gouki monster, special summon out your Gactos. Straight away, that's your Isolde play. Your Isolde play can then lead into the Paraload Ogre, which can then lead into your 0 Day and Codebreaker plays. And then during the battle phase, you've already got a pretty beefy lineup. And in that lineup, you could also end up with, if you play the combo correctly, you can end up with 2 Paraload Ogres plus a Flame Swordsman Link monster, which means the second you drop a War Rock during the battle phase, you're then boosting them all up. And the idea is that you want to bring out your Skylar or you want to bring out your Barastos to kind of give you your big beast monsters on board. And like I said, this is all about going second. So it's all about turning your opponent's board off and then just running ham in the battle phase. Speaking of which, because it is go second, we've got the 1 0 Day for the combo and we've got the 1 Prankatops. Now, the issue with Prankatops, or well, a good and bad thing with Prankatops, is because it's a dino, it does kind of hurt the rest of your deck because they're all like, oh, well, you need to have warriors. But the idea is that Prankatops can just come on the board, be a 2600 beater, or you can just tag it out and pop a card. So, kind of a good card on that one. Then we move into the field spell, probably the best card in War Rocks in general. Triple War Rock Mountain. So when this card is activated, you can add 1 War Rock monster from your deck to your hand. At the start of the battle phase, if you control no monsters or all monsters you control are warrior monsters, you can special summon 1 War Rock monster from your hand with a different name than the cards you control. If your warrior monster would be destroyed by battle, you can send this card to the graveyard instead. So it protects all of your warriors, which is nice and generic. But then on top of that, of course, the fact is it lets you search you out your War Rock. So it can search you out your Extender, or it searches you out your big beast monsters in Skylar or Barastos if you don't already have them. And then during the battle phase, it allows you to special summon it. So again, with a card like this, I thought it was like, search out a War Rock, and then you can special summon a War Rock with a different name. I was like, alright, cool, it's a nice little extender. It gets you your Skylar, it gets you your Brastos to the board early enough, and you can kind of play from there. But sadly, it's during the battle phase. And then you've got the Terraforming as well. You've then got double rematch. So obviously, you can end up searching both of these throughout the combo. One is during for your next turn for recursion plays, if you need it, but you shouldn't need to if you play this deck correctly and just pretty much go one shot. And then the other one is to keep the combo moving. Now, obviously, in the normal Gouki matchup, you're going to be making Isolde, whereas in this one, you're making Paraload Ogre, and then you're going to play the rematch, and that's where you get your Codebreaker combo from. We've then got the 1 Monster Reborn, 3 Extender, Rotor, all of them are warriors, good to go. 1 Instant Fusion. Now, again, the Instant Fusion really comes down to what card you're putting in your extra deck. The idea is you're going to be putting in a 3 Extender, so you're just going to put in like a level 4, or you can put in a level 3. As long as it's a warrior Instant Fusion target, you're pretty much good to go. And then the last 2 we've got is the Divine Phoenix Swordblade and the 1 Reasoning. Now, obviously, Reasoning, again, because we play like levels, we've got 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, and 7s, I believe. Reasoning is pretty much going to be a 3 Extender. You do play a lot of 4s, so if your opponent does call 4, you've got less chance of resolving it. But if they don't, then you're pretty much good to go. And then, obviously, the Divine Phoenix Sword is purely there because you need to be able to send an equipped off of Isolde. Now, the one downside is if you do open up that equipped, you've got no way of resolving your Isolde play, which is when you might need to adapt or change up your play style in order to pretty much resolve that as best as you possibly can. But that's pretty much it for the actual general main deck that I say is, I wouldn't say a staple, but if you're going with this particular build, it's kind of the options you need to go with and the options you need to roll with. Now, I've got another 5-card engine, and this is purely up to you as a player how you want to approach it and how you want to go it, and if you've got those cards to play. So For the cheap option, we've got a Kaiju engine of triple Kaiju and double Interrupted Slumber. Now, obviously, the idea behind this is you're going to clear your opponent's board, you're going to get rid of any annoying card that might be slowing you down or holding you back, and then you can use this Link monster to make your Link to Flame Swordsman Link monster, and then that will allow you to go off from there. Obviously, the biggest downside about this is, yes, it will clear board, but under VFD, it doesn't really do a lot because you can't attack, you've already lost the turn, so you will pretty much be building your board. As long as they don't call Earths, you'll be able to build your board into Power Load Ogre and stuff like that to try and interrupt. So that's your one route. Your second route is a bit more expensive, and obviously so, because you've got triple Droplet and double Cosmic Cyclone. Now, obviously, the Cosmic Cyclone can be Ghost Ogres. It is purely for those back row decks right now when you look at Virtual Worlds and stuff like that. The droplets are pretty much here to combat any meta. With this deck specifically, you can go off on 2 cards. You won't be able to go into, like, you can go full Gouki combo off of 2 cards, but you won't be able to get into your War Rock combo off of 2 cards. So again, going second, if droplet's one of them, you can send 2 more cards. You've still got 3 more cards to play with, and that will ultimately lead you to OTK because droplet is going to half all of the monsters that you choose to target, or not target, but choose to reduce and negate with its effect. Again, there's a big difference between the Kaiju engine and this in price value, but the fact you can also chain this to a VFD or anything like that is quite important, and it also hurts a little bit more, unlike Kaijus against Vanities as well, which is really important. So that's pretty much it for the main deck. Again, the other option that you can make, or you can play with this deck, is the Phantom Knight engine. So with the Phantom Knight engine, what it allows you to do is it consistently allows you to get rank 4 plays going, because you can use Shade Brigadine, you've got Fog Blades. It's a bit more defensive, but so because we're going aggression, I've actually decided to side it out rather than main it. Another card that I haven't even sleeved up yet is Reinforcement of the Army's Troops. So when an attack is declared involving your warrior monster, you can special on 1 level 4 or lower warrior monster from your hand. So it's good in some scenarios, but not in all of them, which is, again, why it's just not mained in this particular deck. Before people go, why haven't you got it? Well, there's a reason why. Moving on to the extra deck, of course, we've got our 1 instant fusion target in the form of Invoked Raijin. So any warrior will do. If you want to be consistently making your rank 4s in here, you'd probably make this a rank 4 fusion like the Karabora Knight and stuff like that. Speaking of XYZs, we play 3 XYZs, and these are interchangeable. So what I mean by interchangeable is, I'll show you in a second, the other options for these. So we've got the 1 Heroic Challenger, Kusanagi, the 1 Cowboy, and the 1 Gandiva, purely because they're all warriors. So with your Kusanagi, the good thing about this is once per turn during your player's turn, when a trap card is activated, detach a material from this card, negate the activation. If you do destroy it, then this card gains 500 attack, so it becomes a 3k beater, which is really nice. The Gandiva is once per turn when a level 4 or lower monster or monsters is special summoned to your opponent's side of the field, except during a damage step, you can detach 1 material from this card, destroy that special summon monster. Again, really nice. And then Cowboy, we all know, is just for those abilities to game. So these ones I'm maining. The options to these particular 3 cards is, of course, if you go with the Phantom Knight engine, you've got Axis Code and Phantom Knight. Again, we've tried to keep it warrior based, but the one thing with Axis Code is because you've got like Earths and Lights and Fires for your warriors, you can link up into Axis Code, but you're only going to do that if that's going to guarantee you game. Otherwise, your War Rock during the battle phases is not going to work. The other engine that I would say in place of these 3 here would be your Utopia, your Utopia the Double, and your Utopia the Beyond. The one thing about this is the idea behind it is you'll go Utopia into double. You'd go double into Beyond. You'd have to play a double or nothing, which is one of the brick issues of it. But then the idea behind Beyond is it's going to turn all of your opponent's monsters to 0. He's going to be a 6k monster. And then as long as you don't use double or nothing, or everything else can attack, so you just get to poke through everything, and it means all of your attacks are going to be successful. And then you've got the Utopia in there as the double or nothing OTK play. Like I said, the only issue is you do have to play that 1 brick of double or nothing, which sometimes if you open it really, really sucks. Which is why I've gone with this route, which is like I don't rely on that too heavily. Then on for the Link monsters, we've got 2 Ferocious Flame Swordsmen. The thing about this is it's generic. It's just 2 monsters with different names, which is why you can use the Kaijus to make it as well. All warrior monsters on the field gain 500 attack. So not only are your War Rocks going to be boosting themselves through their own effects, but they're also going to get a nice boost of the Furious Flame Swordsman as well. If this Link summon card is destroyed by battle on an opponent's card effect while this card is in its owner's monster zone, you can type 1 non-Link warrior monster in your graveyard and special summon it, but banish it when it leaves the field. So again, you get to bring back monsters and recur your resources. Double is old. You can only resolve it once, but it's purely if the first one gets like impermed or negated or anything like that, you can make a second one as long as you haven't activated this effect, and then you can go from there. And then this is, of course, going to pretty much utilise your entire Gouki combo. For the non-Gouki Link monsters, we've got the Codebreaker engine, which of course is going to be the one Codebreaker Virus Swordsman and the one Virus Berserker. And then we've got the one Ningrisu, the World Chalice Warrior. Now the one thing that makes Ningrisu really cool is, again, it's a warrior monster. It does require specifically 2 Link monsters, but a nice non-target send can really get you out of tricky situations as long as you've already baited out in the gates. This can come in clutch, and if you've got dead cards or cards you don't want to use or anything like that, like if you've got a second Warrock mountain, you can send that and then send another opponent's card. And then what you can do with this, because it's a warrior monster, it's just 1+ monster or 1 more monster, gets you into your Gouki, the Power Load Ogre as well. For the Gouki Link monsters, we've got the one Hill Ogre. This is just to make sure that it's easier to get into your Thunder Ogre. The one thing with Gouki Hill Ogre, again, which is really nice, is once per turn when a monster this card points to activates its effect, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So what you can do is you can destroy one of your Warrocks. Now when you do it, you get a special summon a Gouki monster from your graveyard. So this can actually help bring back your Power Load Ogre, it can bring back your Thunder Ogre, but it can also, if you wanted to put in stuff like Rice Scorpio and Bear Hug, it could bring them back and turn like an 1800 Warrock into a 2400 Warrock. Very specific, but the idea is just to make this easier to get into Thunder Ogre. And then finally, we've got our 2 boss monsters in Gouki, the Power Load Ogre. Now, as you can see, it's got the 3 zones pointing down, which is perfect for the Codebreaker engine, which again are all warriors. So it requires 2+ warriors. This is the only Link monster that only requires warriors, which is unbelievable to me. Like, it's the only like Link 4 that requires only warriors. All the other warrior Link monsters are all like, yeah, I must. It's not 2 monsters including the Gouki. It's specifically 2+ Goukis. It's like, oh, you're killing me, man. Anyway, gains attack equal to the combined Link ratings of all other Link monsters this you control times 200. So again, for example, if you were to hold the Codebreaker engine, that's a Link rating of 5. So it's going to get an additional 1,000, which is really, really nice. But then if you end up getting a Power Load Ogre, and then you've got your Ferocious Flame Swordsman, which can go over here, then both of these are going to be gaining a total of 1,200 each, and then they're going to get 500 for this. So they go straight out to a 4,500 beta. And this is before you have 3 zones left open that you can just drop your Warrocks. The Warrocks are going to gain the boost off of the Flame Swordsman, but they're also going to boost themselves as well, and it's like pretty much going into game. The other thing that Power Ogre does provide to the deck as well is this Link Summon card is unaffected by other card effects. Nice. You can treat 1 Gouki Link monster, then target target cards on the field up to its Link ratings, destroy them. So again, if you've got a Power Load, you just go, alright, fine. Actually, no, you can't use Power Load because it's unaffected by other card effects. So if you make like Heal or you've got Thunder Ogre or anything like this, you can just go, cool, effect, target this, pop 3. So it's a shame that you need to tribute specifically a Gouki Link monster, but it does give you other ways of just board clearing as well. And if your opponent's already under drop clear, you probably don't want to board clear, but it does give you that option to play around with it as well. So that's it for the profile. I will now reset the state and I'll show you the combo. I will have to go slowly through it because it is one of Joe's. So I will reset the game state and be back with you in a second. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the 2-card combo that pretty much ends you with at least 2 Power Load Ogres, and then depending on what else you have in your hand, can add additional extensions. So I think like the best kind of combo would be with Warrock Mountain, because then as long as you have another warrior in hand or another Warrock, that's where your extension comes. But the idea behind this combo is pretty much, specifically for this build, if you've got Warrock Mountain, great. If you don't, the base minimum you need is a Gouki plus an extender. So that can be another Gouki, or of course that can be the Warrock Gactus, because then Gactus becomes that extender. But ideally, if you were to open up something like this, so this can be any Warrock, imagine this any Warrock, this can be any Gouki you want, and then Warrock Mountain becoming like an extender. So as long as you've got an extender like this, then the idea behind this, it's still a 2-card combo to get you everywhere you need to go, but the Warrock Mountain is going to show you another line of aggression. So you'd activate your Warrock Mountain, put that into the field zone, that will then trigger its effect to add you a Warrock monster. Now obviously the one you kind of want to go for to get the most out of your board would be Skylar. The most aggressive one you can go for will be Basilios. Now obviously if you have the ability to dump Basilios as well, another option for you would be, where are you? Orpis, but again that dictates what else you have in your hand. Now I'm just going to show you pretty much the standard combo, the 2-card combo, and then we'll show you what happens when you have Skylar or Basilios on board or in play. So you normal summon your Super X or whatever Gouki monster it is, and then your extender, just pretty much getting into a Zol place here. So you can link these two together. You're going to go into Isolde. Isolde will trigger effect to search. Now, obviously, you want to make sure you're searching a card that you're not going to use. So you want to make sure you either search another, search something like Twist Cobra. It's just going to be a Gouki you're going to ditch, and then off of Super X, you're going to search out your Headbat because you need to get another Gouki to the board. You'll then use the effect of Isolde to send Divine Phoenix Sword or any equip spell that you've decided to play in the deck, and you're going to special summon out your Octo Stretch. You're then going to use the effect of Headbat, discarding your Twist Cobra, summoning down the Headbat, and then you can link all 4 of these together. Now, normally in the non-Warrior version, you're going to Isolde. In this version, we are going to be going into our Gouki, the Power Load Ogre. You then trigger both of the Gouki effects. Now, you can choose to add, definitely going to add a rematch, but you can choose to add a second rematch, so you've got a follow-up for the next turn as well. You're then going to activate said rematch, bring any 2 back apart from Twist Cobra, because obviously it's under the Isolde effect. It doesn't really matter on these because you're then going to use those and you're going to go into your Virus Swordsman kind of plays. So you go into your Codebreaker, Virus Swordsman, use the effect, get 0 Day out of your deck. Again, pretty standard on this. You're then going to link these 2 together. You're going to go into wherever he is, your Codebreaker. Codebreaker will then use his effect to bring back Virus Swordsman and 0 Day. Now, if you're playing the Phantom Knight engine, this is where it will differ. So if you're playing the Phantom Knight engine, what you can do is you can put these 2 into Rusty. Rusty will then produce, you could produce Brigadine, you can also produce Boots. That then allows you to go into something like a Ferocious Flame Swordsman. It also allows you to set up some Fog Blades as well. But the idea behind this deck is we want to just OTK. We want to put as much power on the board as possible and pretty much just one-shot our opponent. So from this position here, what you can do, because we are going for that one-shot ability, is you link 0 Day and you link the Codebreaker together. Keep in mind, Codebreaker will also allow you the ability to pop free back row. So if you've already pre-turned off your opponent's board, you're good to go. You then make a second Power Load Ogre. Now, both of these Ogres are currently gaining an additional 1200 attack. So these are base 4k as they are in general. I just need to check the restrictions on Virus Swordsman. During the end, its cards in the go because it's throw the possession. So there's no. I'm just checking there was no like attack reduction. So anyway, at this point, you would still technically have 2 more cards in your hand to play around with. So if they are more War Rocks, then great. But if not, you'll go to enter battle phase. Now, because all of the monsters you control are warriors, you can special summon down Skylar. Now, Skylar's effect will trigger, so it gains 100 attack for each of your opponent's monsters. So if your opponent's got a lot of monsters, then you're on a nice little boost there. But what she'll also do is during the battle phase, when you're Earth Warrior, so if any of these 2 battles, you can target one of your level 5 or lower warrior monsters in your graveyard and special summon it. So she will allow you to get back your Gactus if that was your extender. Now, obviously, if you didn't have Gactus as your extender for the start and it was just another Gouki, then what you'd be doing is you would have searched out the Basilios, and that's going to be your other boss monster. But the idea behind this, and I'm not too sure, because it says level 5 or lower monsters can't attack directly. So I don't know if that counts links or if they technically need to have a level to be counted. If that is the case, then you want to make sure that it's Skylar and Gactos that are attacking. Sorry, not Gactos. It's Skylar that's attacking directly, and these 2 are just clearing off the board. But you've got 4Ks at the moment. Playing out the combo however you see fit, you'd bring back Gactus. Skylar then gives all War Rocks an additional 200. So Skylar's going to be plus 100 for whatever monsters your opponent has, plus an additional 200 on herself. And Gactus is going to become a 21. So you've got 2 4Ks going in there, you've got a 23 going in there, you've got a 24 plus going in there, and then you've got a 21 going in there. So that's just how the aggression goes. Then should your opponent survive this, you do have the ability to come back with Gouki rematch or anything like this. You also have the ability to link further forward if you wanted to. If you wanted to in main phase 2 boost all of your Gouki monsters and your Virus Swordsman, you could go into your Ferocious Flame Swordsman, because what this does is all warrior monsters gain 500 attack. So he'll be going up to a 28. You've got a 18, 28, 48, and 48. So you've got like a really beast monster on there. If you were to play stuff like Isolde or anything like that, you do also have the ability to make that. You've got your rematch to save you the next turn. You can banish 2 to get the sword back, and you can pretty much go from there. And like I said, if you were to play the Phantom Knight engine, the best thing about it is it is all warriors. So you go this route if you know you're going to OTK and win the duel from there. If you're not, that's where you'd probably go, right, okay, I'm going to make Rusty Bardiche. You also have the ability as well, If you keep 0 day on the board and you were to use Codebreaker, so let's just reset this quickly. If you were to go into the Rusty Bardiche, if you keep 0 day on the board, the one additional thing that you will have playing this engine is you'll have the ability to make a rank 4. Now, obviously, if you make a dark rank 4 warrior, then you're in happy days. But the idea behind this would literally be that you would use these two to make Rusty. Wherever I have put Rusty. There we go. You should make those two to make Rusty. You can pretty much go wherever he wants to go. And then what you do is you can use Rusty's effect. As long as you've got no traps in the graveyard, which you shouldn't do, you'll have the ability to set the Shade Brigandine. You can activate the Shade Brigandine, giving you instant rank 4 access. If you've got the ability to get into Boots as well, so you send Cloak, for example, set this, banish Cloak, add Boots. Boots then becomes a special summon. And during the battle phase, that's when you'll need to drop like a Skylar or any of your War Rocks to then link off the Boots, and then Boots can get you the Fog Blade. But then the idea behind this is you have the ability to make a rank 4. Now, obviously, the rank 4 warriors at the moment are all going to be Earth, so you're not going to be able to trigger Bardiche. But if you wanted to play just a generic rank 4 Dark, you could do that. If not, in the particular profile, of course, you've got Cowboy, you've got Kazaniga, and you've got Gandiva. So if at any point you attack with these, for example, or overlay these, Kazaniga can protect you, Gandiva can slow your opponent down, and then if you haven't been able to OTK, then of course Cowboy can then finish that game off. So let's say we've done this example here. We've got we'll have a set Fog Blade. It's going to be in a different sleeve. There you go. So we've done this route of play. We've got the set Fog Blade, which you don't even need to do before the battle phase. You go into the battle phase. This can be a rank 4. Let's go with the Kusanagi, just in case our opponent wants to trigger a trap. And then, of course, you'd get the Skylar, and Skylar would then bring back your Gactus. So, again, you'd still have a very decent board. It'd be a little bit of a weaker board, but it'll be a little bit more of a defensive board. And this is only if you can't OTK. So, if your opponent's got, like, such a big wall, they're all in defense, you can't get rid of them, whatever. And also keep in mind that Parallel Ogre, if you were to make a Gouki link to it, can pop it and then pop more cards. But it's just an example. You'll still have the rematch in hand. You still have 2 other cards as well. And then you'll have your single Fog Blade. And you can go from there on top of that as well. If you choose not to go for the rank, you can, of course, go for a second Fog Blade instead. Entirely up to you on your route of play as well. And that is it, guys. That is it for the combo for the video. I hope you like it. I hope it's given you a couple of ideas on your own particular War Rock build. I know it's not like pure War Rock. I think if you want to go pure War Rock, you want to be playing Reinforcement of the Army Troops, and it's a little bit more difficult. I think you, at this moment in time, until they get new support, you really need to synergize it with a Warrior engine that's going to do the most for you, and the Goukis just do that. Because the Goukis on their own can give you 2 boss monsters in Link 4s. It also instigates the ability for rank 4s later on down the line. It unlocks the Phantom Knight engine, it unlocks additional consistency on the War Rock engine, and you pretty much just go absolutely ham. But for now, as absolutely always, guys, smash that like button, hit that notification bell, subscribe, stay safe, and happy dueling.